Today I'm here with JTCC alum and the number one ranked NCAA Division III player in the nation, Nikolai Parodi. Nikolai is arguably the most consistent student athlete who has ever trained and graduated from JTCC. Finishing 4 straight seasons in the national top 5 year-end rankings, he is only the 4th JTCC alum to capture the number 1 collegiate ranking, with UVA's Trent Huey, who is number 1 in Division I doubles in 2008, UVA's Mitchell Frank, who was number 1 in Division I singles in 2011, and South Carolina's Mia Horvath, who was number 1 in Division I doubles last year. But before we hear from Nikolai, Claremont Mudd-Scripps coach Paul Settles has a few words, and at the end of the interview, JTCC's Vesa Ponka and Mark Santangelo have a few words.
Hey, it's Paul Settles, men's tennis coach at Claremont Mudd-Scripps colleges out in Southern California, and I'm pleased to talk to you today about one of the greatest players in the history of our program, Nikolai Parodi. He's a 4-time singles and doubles ITA All-American, something that's only been done 2 other times in our program's history. He's won the prestigious Ojai tournament in singles and doubles every year that he's played, his first 3 years of college. This year, of course, being canceled. Singles semifinalist, singles finalist in the NCAA tournament, 2-time team finalist in the NCAA tournament, in large part because he was in the top position for us. Phenomenal player, a great talent, but what a lot of people don't know about him is really a hard worker too, and cares very deeply for his teammates. He's been an extraordinary leader for this team this year in unusual circumstances. Brought them together, made them better, drawn the best out of them in terms of their on-court and off-court performances. And in terms of personal growth, I think Nico over the last 4 years has grown tremendously. He is a fierce competitor, but so committed to sportsmanship and representing himself, our team, and our institution in a way that would bring honor and glory to us. I think what people don't realize about Nico is how great a doubles player he is. They look at all of his singles accomplishments and they forget that in his 4 years he's partnered 5 or 6 doubles partners and he's made them all better. He's played with all of them at a high national level. He's had wins over the best teams in the country. This year, in fact, he was 1 point away from being number 1 in the nation, both in singles and in doubles at the NCAA Division III level. So I can't say enough about Nico. I'm only limited by the time of this tape, but it's been a pleasure to know him as a young man, to see him develop, to see him turn into just an incredibly great player, and more importantly, mature as a young man who will go on and do great things.
All right, Nikolai, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start at the beginning because our audience includes a number of young players who dream of following in your footsteps. You started in summer camp in 2008 when you were 10 years old, and we both were rookies together. Could you tell us about your experience at JTCC those first few summers and when you became a full-time student at JTCC in 2012?
Definitely. So my first time at College Park was in 2008, and I was still living in Russia then, but I was coming to DC to visit my dad every summer. So my mom signed me up for the summer camps. And I would say I have a very good recollection of my first day ever at College Park, which speaks to the impact it has had on me from the first day I was there. You know, I was training at this 3-court indoor facility in Russia, and one of the courts was a teaching court, and to walk into College Park that has 27 courts, has hundreds of nationally and internationally ranked players, and so many great coaches, I was really just amazed by the whole setup and how competitive it was. And I think my experience actually got better with each summer camp because of the fact that the players and the coaches would actually remember who I was and remember the fact that I was actually from Russia. And so I really felt like I fit in by the time it was like 2011. And I think my experience and how good my experience was with the summer camps actually influenced my decision to go full time. And so when I first got to be a part of the full time program, I was it was a bit of a shaky start just because of the culture shock, the difference in the education system, going from like a regular Russian school to a full online kind of academy. But I would say what was so great about it was the competitiveness, the competitive environment that I was in with 30, 40 student athletes that were all competing between each other to be in the top group. But they also were all pushing each other to be better. And it made it even cooler to be training next to players like Francis Tiafoe and Dennis Kudla and a bunch of other top D1 athletes that would come in once in a while, and you really got to look up to them and really kind of set a goal that that's what you want to be in the future. And I think also what was so amazing throughout my 4 years was that being able to do online school gave me the self-discipline to be ahead in school so that I could focus more on tennis and go to not only sectional tournaments, but travel to ITFs and national tournaments. And so I got opportunities to play at Orange Bowl or go to Costa Rica and play all these various tournaments that not everyone gets the chance to do. And I think that was really amazing.
You're absolutely right. JTCC has a great environment of players that kind of it feeds off each other of how you grow. Once someone else grows, you grow as well. And it's a great competitive and fun environment. And these competitors are also your friends at the end of the day. So it's nice to have that group as support. And you're right about the flexibility of the homeschooling and the training, because you had great opportunities to play in Orange Bowl in Florida and play grade ones in Costa Rica. So it gave you solid opportunities. So you were top 10 in 16s in the Mid-Atlantic and also number 1 in 18s. Could you tell us a little bit about your biggest wins in some of your tournaments?
Definitely. I mean, at the sectional tournaments, a lot of the players were either from College Park or 4-star, and most of them were nationally ranked. So anytime I got to beat them, I would count that as a big win. And it was especially pretty fun to play against guys from College Park just because the competitiveness, I think, increased in an actual tournament versus a practice scenario.
Right.
But at national and international tournaments, my biggest win ever was against Nick Stakoviak, who was 4 in my grade, and he played at Duke University. And I also was able to beat Chase Wood, who plays at Florida State. But the biggest success I had was also at Vandenberg during my junior summer. I was able to beat Kirill in the semis and Pyme in the finals, and I, kind of played. I felt the pressure with the college process being at its very peak, and I felt like I played a really great loose tournament and beat a number of great players there.
Absolutely, and Vandenberg is the biggest Mid-Atlantic tournament in our section, and it's a national level 3, so that's very, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, the being top 8 in the section gave you an automatic spot into clay courts and Kalamazoo, and winning Vandenberg actually gave you an automatic bid into Kalamazoo, and so that was really huge for me to kind of not worry about whether I'd make that tournament so that coaches could watch me play.
Right. So now let's go into recent history, how you and your team reached the finals of the NCAA team championships twice, and how you earned the number 1 Division III ranking this year as a senior, which I recall was part of your plan from the beginning when you chose Claremont McKenna over Notre Dame and Dartmouth. Could you explain your decision of choosing Claremont McKenna over all the other schools?
Yeah, so I would say Dartmouth, Notre Dame, and Middlebury were my other 3 schools I was looking at. And I actually had an offer from Dartmouth right after I got off the court at clay courts. I had a really good tournament there, and Scott Brown at the time was my mentor, and he advised me to not make a irrational decision and just go with the commitment, even though I kind of wanted to just to be done with the stressful process.
That's smart.
Yeah, but I'm really happy he told me not to do it, because Dartmouth lost interest in me pretty quickly afterwards. And so then when I was starting my official visits, I only went to Notre Dame and Claremont, and that's because when I went to Claremont, it was like this gut feeling that that's where I wanted to go. But before the visits, I kind of made a table and try to figure out what was important to me for when I go to college and what I want to get out of my college experience. And so from the tennis standpoint, I wanted to be at a school that was competing every year for national championship and where I could really make a huge impact on the team from the very start. And then I also looked at the schools that I was visiting and looking at it from just a college student's point of view without any sports, and where I would have liked it more. And the more I looked at my table, the more I realized that Notre Dame was just not a good fit for me. I really was only interested in it for tennis, and I didn't want my college life to revolve only around tennis. And I felt like at the D1 level, that's what it would have been. And I really got that confirmed from Joe Doran. He used to train at College Park, and a lot of players looked up to him, and he went to Vanderbilt. He was really good. He had won so many national tournaments as a junior. And then he transferred after 1 year to play at Claremont. So I really looked up to him just because he also won a national championship with Claremont. And he helped me kind of figure out the differences between D1 and D3. And it really helped me make my decision to go with Claremont.
Right. No, that's great that you had Joe there as kind of a mentor and guide to help you with your decision. I remember Joe, when we were growing up, he was always in the older group, and he was one of the guys that everyone looked up to. I mean, he won a national championship when he was 16 in doubles, so that was fantastic.
Yeah,
And
he's a great guy.
I think it was very smart that you not only looked at the tennis program, but you saw yourself, if you went to this college, you put yourself in there for 4 years, right? So you have to look at many different aspects, not just tennis. You have to look at the living environment, of course, the team, and how you'll grow as a person. So I think that was a very smart decision of you.
Yeah, I mean, Scott and Vessa were a huge part in that too. I mean, they were the ones who kind of told me to think about it as if I didn't have tennis, which I actually didn't think about that until they mentioned it, and so they were definitely a huge part of my college decision making.
Right. And so it's taken a global pandemic to keep you from chasing the NCAA singles crown this year, but I have no doubt, based on your consistent record, you would have succeeded if given the chance this year. So what's next on your to-do list after you officially graduate?
Well, I was going to actually go to Europe and travel, but that's going to be kind of tough considering the virus. But I guess I'll just learn a new language from home. But in the fall, I actually have a job set up already. I'll be working in a healthcare consulting firm out in San Francisco.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It's called Triage. So they kind of help hospitals gain the money that insurance companies owe them. So it's kind of like revenue maximization. So that's my kind of near future, and we'll see from where that takes me.
That's amazing. Well, Nico, thank you so much for spending time with me today in this interview and letting everyone know about your journey.
Thank you for having me. This was really exciting.
Hi Nikolai, congratulations on your graduation and finishing the year #1 in the nation. That's a great achievement. You came to the JTCC as an 11-year-old sectional player, and you left as one of the best players in the nation. Your journey has been excellent, and you have been a great example of the JTCC student athlete. Your willingness to give back and always helping other people, it's very inspiring. So all the best for your journey after the college, and want to congratulate you and your parents. Job well done.
Nikolai, congratulations on graduating from Claremont McKenna. That's a great, fantastic achievement, but not a surprise, because when our students today ask about the students of the past, your name always comes up. They say, so who were those heroes of the past? And I say, well, there was this one guy, Nikolai, and he always seemed to get ahead in his work. He was really the guy who set the bar really high for the teachers by taking our first AP classes, and always managed to challenge us to work really hard. So we knew when you went to college you would be a great success, and of course here we are at the end of that journey. Congratulations. I wish you much luck in whatever is coming in the future, and we hope to see you a lot. Thanks a lot.